Take-Two Design Videos presents Illumination 101, the behind-the-scenes look at light fixture installation. We're here today with William Moses from William Moses Design Build at a residential project site to give you a behind-the-scenes look at fixture installation. Let's go inside.
Okay, well, this is a recessed light housing that's recently been installed, and this particular one uses a 12 volt MR16 bulb, which looks like this. And that goes, there's like a little connector in here that it goes into, like that. This is, so when you get recessed lights, you're mostly going to be getting three things. You're going to be getting a housing, which is this, and a trim, which is this, which goes in after the drywall, and then a lamp, which in this case, recessed lights, there's kind of two major types of them. This is what they call a new construction type, which goes in before drywall. And then there's another type, what they call a remodel type. This is one here. These go in after drywall, like so if you're remodeling a house, you just cut a hole in the ceiling, and this tucks up through the hole and clamps in. These little clamps. And then the other thing about them is different ones will work with different type of lamps. Like this one is strictly going to work with an MR16 lamp. This one here works with a particular type of fluorescent. Can you see that socket in there?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the bulb here, but and then there's types that work with conventional screw-in incandescent lamps. There's also LED types now, so you have to kind of plan that ahead when you're selecting these, and then you get into the catalogs and you'll see that different trims. Like here's one, and here's a different one over here. There you go.
Well, this is, let's try to get this in the light.
Yeah.
There's, you see the ridges in this. This is called a step baffle, and so it'll diffuse the light quite a bit.
Right.
And then
these, and these are also the ones with a lot of the ones with the MR16s are. Should we do that again? A lot of the ones with the MR16s are aimable a little bit inside.
oh, so they flex around.
This thing flexes around. There's different types so that you can aim it towards a wall or a piece of art.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever. That's usually, mostly only the MR16 types that do that. This one is, it has a lens over it and a gasket, and this one's actually rated for use above a shower in a wet area. But it's actually going into the same type of housing as the other one we showed you.
Oh, okay.
So we're using these in the bathroom. Let's see. So these are actually just a junction box for mounting these tiny little, they mount this tiny little plate that a pendant light hangs from. And there's a little transformer in here, so it's a low voltage pendant light, which lets it have a tiny, slim little wire. And these just make it just a beautiful little, you know, they don't have the big huge plate like they usually do.
So there's drywall?
Yeah, drywall comes right up to this, so this
Okay.
is all that ends up showing is this, and then the little light hangs down from
Oh,
this.
nice.
We've got some art display areas, and Bobby has selected these monopoint fixtures, which are just super tiny. These will be up in the ceiling and will be aimed at artwork that's mounted in some recesses on the walls. A lot of times you'll hear the term monopoint, and usually that'll refer to a fixture that's made to mount to a track, and there'll be a big plate that has a track connector on it. In this case, these have their own unique little system, these tiny little boxes. And these are low voltage fixtures that require a remote transformer, so there's special low voltage wiring right here in place for these. And probably come over here. Up here around it in the attic, there's a transformer that powers 4 of those in this case. And then so the normal 120 volt power supply goes into that, and then it has low voltage 12 volt lines coming out of it.
And then there are two over for this display art on each side, on each wall, and on this little wall as well.
Here we have a ceiling fan rated junction box. So a ceiling fan or fan with light can hang from that. It's a heavy duty box that's required for those.
Because the ceiling fan is so heavy?
Heavy and the vibration from the movement.
Okay.
And then over here we have there's some display shelves in here, and these are actually LED fixtures in here. Well, this is the cam that it goes in. So these will sit flush with the drywall, and there's just I think there's three little tiny LED bulbs in each one of these, and they draw an incredibly small amount of power, which is why they have this tiny little wire.
So then the heat won't build up necessarily in that little framed box.
Won't be a heat issue. And then those also have a remote sort of power supply. Actually, let's go up here. Again, we put it in the attic in this case because that's our nearest accessible place to put that. And that is a specific LED power supply made to go with those fixtures.
And you have to have access to get to this box?
Yeah, you don't want to just bury them somewhere.
Okay.
So in California, we have some specific energy efficiency requirements for lighting. All of our recessed lights now have to be what they call airtight, and also insulation IC rated, which means they can touch insulation. So any recessed fixtures you're specifying need to be IC rated and airtight, which is not every fixture available. Also in California, we have rules in certain parts of the house. Everything either has to be an energy efficient, what they call a high efficacy fixture, which means either fluorescent or LED. In most parts of the house, a fixture either needs to be high efficacy or be dimmed. In bathrooms, laundry rooms, garages, outdoors, they either need to be high efficacy or controlled by a motion sensor type setup, very specific type. That is, you have to switch it on, but it turns itself off if it doesn't sense motion after a while. The outdoor ones have a daylight sensor built in them as well, so they don't turn on accidentally. Now in kitchens, it gets a lot trickier for the designer. Okay, so in kitchens in California, the code requires half of our lighting wattage to be high efficacy. So that doesn't mean half your fixtures, because of course these fixtures, the fluorescents, and then the LEDs even more so use less energy than their incandescent counterparts. So from a practical point of view, 3/4 to 100% of your fixtures in kitchens and bathrooms are supposed to either be fluorescent or LED fixtures, which can be challenging, but the LED fixtures are getting better, and within a couple of years, that's probably all we're going to be using.
Many thanks to William Moses for taking us through this project and sharing his knowledge and expertise with us. It has been a pleasure.